getting
This
close
is
to Halloween.
not a Halloween episode.
But we're getting close. We're getting close. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Multiplayer, the podcast by gamers for gamers. I am your host, Zach Matscanis, alongside the spooky boy himself, Javier Ortiz.
Ooh, hello.
What up, spooky boy?
Hey, raise the roof.
Oh man, yeah, it's spooky time. It's Halloween time.
It's getting to that. Did you notice yesterday in LA it was like all dark and dusky and like huge overcast and like it seemed kind of smoky, but there was no fire. It was just very like it looked spooky out yesterday.
Well, it's just the wind. It got super windy yesterday, so it's just kicking up like mad dust.
Is that what it is? Dust?
Yeah, 100% dust.
Man, that's so much less cool.
It's way less spooky, but
yeah,
but
cool,
yeah,
though.
you know, for the people that aren't in LA, don't know the weather here. It's basically just like, 75 and sunny, like 85% of the year, and we don't really get rain. We don't get wind. We don't get much of anything. So if it rains or if we have like a real windy day, like it's just chaos because it's just like you're just blowing dust everywhere. If it's windy out, it's just there's just so much dust everywhere.
Yeah, it was cool though. It looked really cool. I love I like overcast and I miss the rain. I'm from the East Coast, so it looked cool. I really liked it.
Yeah. Weather last couple days, it's been all right. I'm surprisingly wearing a long sleeve today versus like a tank top, so I'm not just sweating my butt off doing this.
I was wearing a sweatpants and hoodie all day yesterday. It was nice.
Very nice. Remember, everybody, that Multiplayer is all over the place, in your ears and in your face. You can find us over at youtube.com/multiplayer, where you could see me in a long sleeve shirt. Ooh. I know, really like.
You can see
what?
Me in a
what
cowboy
do you got
hat.
Today? Oh, I just got a cowboy hat the other day. I should send you a picture of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, I guess we're cowboys now.
Yeah, welcome to Cowboy Cast.
Yeah, I'd do that podcast.
Yeah.
Along with YouTube, you can also find it's been 1 week and I've just lost my hosting abilities. You can find us over at podcast services of your choice. Pick a podcast service. I don't care. Hob doesn't care.
No.
His cowboy hat doesn't care. You
really doesn't.
Pick a podcast service. You type in Multiplayer. Don't forget that ED on the end, and we're probably on there. Probably not wearing cowboy hats because that is a audio podcast. You cannot see cowboy hats that way. You dummy.
Not yet.
Not yet. Maybe one day. That's the future
Add
of
a
audio
cowboy
podcast.
hat to the logo.
No. No. Oh, and of course you can find us over at Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayer, where you can support the show. Of course, you can find us on things like Instagram as well at Go Multiplayer. And these episodes typically go out every Wednesday across the board. A couple things I wanted to kind of mention at the top of the show this week. So first off, sorry about last week. It is a crazy time of year for basically everybody in the industry, in the film industry, entertainment industry, all that. It's always just like once you hit about October-ish, you start to move into these holiday months where work just gets absolutely insane. So
Got a lot to do before the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Like people just there's a lot they want to kind of shoot or promote or whatever right before the end of the year. I think it's like a combination of like holidays are coming up, which is like big viewer time for just about everything, but also people are trying to like spend their like end of year budgets and stuff. So it's just kind of a combination of things that just make things quite difficult right before the holidays. So yeah, apologies for missing last week, but also next week I will not be able to be on the show. So it might be something where next week there might not be a show. There might not be a spooky show because I'm going to be so dang busy next week. It's going to be crazy. Don't you shake your head at me. How dare you, sir?
Disappointed.
Look, whenever the Patreon blows up, I'll I can make those weeks instead.
So it's all about the money for you.
Yeah, I got bills to pay over here, son.
I just want to say, as like a modestly income kid growing up, not a lot of money, I would totally sell out. There's always this highbrow, like people like, oh man, they sold out. It's like, man, do you know what it's like to not have money? Because I do, and the moment I get that chance, sell, baby.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of completely off topic for the show this week, but all that that leaked info just came out for like Twitter, or not Twitter. On Twitter, there's a lot of talk about it, but for Twitch, there was that leaked info that came out. Did you hear about that?
Yeah. Well, Vera was telling me about it. She was because like the firm that she works for, they represent a lot of those people.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So for the people that haven't heard, like this leaked info, basically there was just how much money some of these like Twitch streamers make, and I don't know why people are so outraged. Like, how do you not realize how much these people are making? Like, these people aren't very quiet about how much money they're making. First off, you can essentially see how many subs they have.
Yep.
And you can essentially do the math, because I think you make like 2.5 or like 3.5 cents per sub, like per month. So you can essentially do easy basic math, like 5th grade math, to figure that out.
Pull out a calculator.
And then on top of that, you could just tip people while they're like streaming and stuff. Say, hey, you're doing great with that fighting that Ganondorf boy. Here's $5.
Yeah. It's also like the tiers, right? You can just be like one of their like paid subs, right? So you just like, okay, let's assume I do a $5 one. I'm just gonna assume 75% of their subs are the same. So just a quick multiplication, and boom.
Yeah. And then, it's like, you see these people, like, they're buying, like, mansions and stuff, or, like, Ferraris. Like, they're not quiet about, they're not keeping it a secret. It's just, I don't know why people are up in arms about it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
At the end of the day, it's like, man, good for those people. Like, I always appreciate a good hustle, and, like, those people are just, they're hustling their butts off. You know how hard it is to stream, like, every dang day? It's like, it's a full-time job, man. It's just sure. Like, and, like, you have to be on the whole time. It's like, it's kind of, it can be kind of tiring, to just be on all the time, to like, you're basically like, you're entertaining a digital crowd constantly. So it's a lot of work, you might not think it, but it's a lot of work and a lot of time you have to put in. Some of these people, they stream for like 8 straight hours a day. It's just,
it's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's straight up a full-time job, so good for them. I got no problem with them making that, but I hope some people come our way one of these days.
I honestly, like, if we ever made that kind of money, I would totally be transparent about it, and I would totally be like, look, if you're gonna give us our money, I'm gonna tell you exactly where your money's going to. I would never be fake about it. It's like, your money's gonna go towards whatever equipment we need to do what we do. Just entertainment services in general. Like, it's, I find no reason to lie to your public. I think it's, there's no point. Yeah. And like, people are up in arms about it because they don't know all the, like, the dirty details, but like, well, I don't know what you expected. Like, I don't get it. It's like getting mad at like Hollywood actors for making millions of dollars, like, or an NBA player who like signs like $100 million contract. It's like, that's where the money comes from. It's like, don't get mad about someone getting paid.
So half the time you're tipping that person on top of whatever they get. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, that's a different conversation for a different day. Today I want to talk about Smash Brothers. A whole bunch, just like a whole freaking show of Smash Brothers. I don't know how you feel about that. I basically there's a lot of essentially, there's a lot to talk about with Smash Brothers, so I want to get into that. But before we get into talking about Smash Brothers today, I just wanted to say, what up, dude? How's it going? What you up to? What you been playing? How's life?
Let me tell you, spooky season is the best season. So I've been playing more of Castlevania Advance Collection, loving it, every second of it. But I decided to take a break, and I switched over to my PlayStation, and I actually got a couple things I played, right? first right off the bat, PS Now, I'm a subscriber.
Nice.
Fallout 76 dropped on it.
Ooh.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a chance. If it's free, I'll definitely try it out. Man, I tried it out. I played it for like 2-3 hours, and I just couldn't. I just couldn't.
Not your kind of game.
I couldn't. I was just like, because it's you get to a certain point, and they're like, build stuff, and I was like, I don't want to. I just want to run around. They're like, no, you got to build, man, just build. And I'm like, I don't want to. Like, I just want to. I don't. Yeah, it's like I don't want to build stuff. I want to run around, and so it's like I decided not to build stuff and run around, and you just like you're no match for the things you face out there, like at such a low level, and it's just like, man, I just don't like your priorities are set in the wrong places, and like as I was playing it, like I was trying to shoot enemies because you don't have the VAT system, like their trademark VATs, like from the get-go. It's like you got to unlock it or some nonsense. And I was like, I already don't like that because like that's the most fun thing about Fallout is the VAT system. You just like because you just slow motion, just like shoot them in the arm, and I couldn't do it, and so I was just like freestyling, trying to shoot like these zombie guys, and I kid you not, the way they moved, they would be like like super like it looked as if like their legs didn't move and like their character model just kind of floated left and right. And I'm like, this is... And then when you die, you lose all your items, so you have to go back and pick it up like a what's it called?
Like a Souls game or something?
Yeah, like a Souls game, SteamWorld Dig kind of game. Like it's just like I don't like any of this. Like I played it for a few hours. I really couldn't get into it. I can understand if people like crafting and building stuff, that's totally their game because they really want you to do that a lot.
Sure.
And I was actually kind of surprised. There's a voice actor in there that I was not expecting. He's like, do you know Jason Mewes?
Ooh, that sounds familiar.
He's like in all the Kevin Smith movies. He's Jay in Silent Bob.
Oh, yeah.
He's Jay.
Yeah,
he voices a character in that game that you meet pretty early on.
Yeah, he actually does a decent amount of like VO work. Like
I didn't know that. Like I had no idea because I heard his voice. I was like, "Is that Jason Mewes?" Like because it just didn't. It was just so out of left field. I wasn't expecting it. But didn't like it that much. So I like Jason Mewes, but I'm not a big fan of Fallout 76. I don't think I'm going to revisit it. But besides that. I spent a few hours in that, but then I got to the Holy Grail, which is I finally started playing RE2, and then RE3 Remake is on deck.
Nice.
Man, I just like... See, this is... It's a perfect example of why when a Resident Evil game is good, it's damn near perfect, because, man, just playing through Resident Evil 2 Remake, everything about it, I was like, this is what I love in like
RE2 is fantastic, man.
It is. And like it just it's third person, which is a huge difference to me compared to first person with the new Resident Evil games. Yeah. The tanky controls are there. You can technically move while you shoot, but you move so slow, it might as well just be standing still and shooting like Resident Evil 4 like tanky controls, which I love. And it's just super fun, like exploring the police station / art museum. Super weird.
I do love how like because this wasn't in like the original game. Where in the original game it was just a police station. It was just weird that it had all these like weird doors and passageways, and they tried to like make up for it in this game. At least I don't remember it in the first or in the original, but in this one they're like, oh yeah, this used to be an art museum, so there's like weird tunnels. And,
what's weird is like stuff. It used to be an art museum. And it still has a ton of the art left in the art museum. Like they didn't clean it out before the police came in and before the city bought the building and made it a police station. They didn't get rid of any of the art stuff. Like it's all still there. You got these weird secret tunnels.
The art museum went out of business, and it just kind of came with the property. And, there was
all these statues and paintings.
Yeah, and then like. The police are like, well, I'm not moving that. I'm not some like art mover. Like I'm a police officer. I'm a cop. I ain't doing that. Leave that in the basement.
Yeah, honestly, it's it's super fun, and I love like the one thing I love about Resident Evil is that there's always this weird, this formula of like it starts out very like zombified, and then eventually gets to weird sci-fi, and it always makes that jump. Like it gradually gets there as you play the game. It goes from like horror to like weird sci-fi, and it does that perfectly in this. I just wish Matt Mercer voiced Leon. I miss Matt Mercer as Leon, but this new guy's fine. Their reactions are still funny. Like every single time a zombie approaches you and you shoot in the head, he's just like, son of a, like, it's just the same reaction.
It's like Leon did that whole game, acts like, he basically has like amnesia. It's like every time he sees like a new enemy, he's like, "Oh, what is this?"
Yeah, he's like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Like, what'd you expect, bro?
But it's so ridiculous. It's just
but that's what I love about Resident Evil, right? Like, it's scary, but I love when they mix in that silliness, like, 'cause it just makes it so much more fun. Yeah. It's great. I have no, like, there's the only thing I don't like about it is there are at certain points of the game where the tyrant, Mr. X, he starts walking around, he can follow you. That's the only part I don't like. And I felt the same way with the new Resident Evil games, 7 and 8. There are points in those games where you can do a little free world exploring, but you have to watch your back because there's a monster that will follow you that can't die. So you just have to sneak away. And that's the only thing I don't like. I could personally, and that's just because, like, man, I love your game. Let me explore and look at your game. Like, don't punish me for wanting to look around.
Those parts definitely get like stressful. It's like, it's stressful in a way I don't like.
Same.
Like I like going into a room and clearing out the zombies and then knowing I'm just safe in that room.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm with you on that. I know there are people out there that kind of like that invincible boogeyman kind of coming at you, but
it's a very like love or hate thing. I just don't like it because like I feel like once I clear something, like I just want to look around and like admire and like explore and just I look at all the nooks and crannies to see what details are there. But like when I have that like you said, invisible boogeyman that's kind of following me, it's kind of like stressing me out. It's like I can't really spend a lot of time here. I gotta go. So it's like. But I want to,
There's also parts where like you need to go find something like a key or a crank or some nonsense, and this like big monster is like following you around. I was like, dude, get out of here! I'm looking for a key. And I can't remember what it's like where it's supposed to be. So I'm like wandering through, uncleared rooms, like looking in drawers and stuff. I'm like, dude, get out of here! Leave me alone.
It's like I'm busy. One of my favorite things to do is like if he's following you and you like. You stop to look at your items and you examine an item and like I just imagine it like the dude's right there. You're just like, wait, I have to look at this. And you're just like looking at a box.
Every angle.
But it's fun, man. I love it. It's spooky time is the best time to play those kind of games, and man, it's just like I want more. I want more Resident Evil remakes. Like they're gonna do the 4 HD remake, and I can't wait for that. When that happens. Man, it's gonna be awesome. Like even though it's already a perfect game, like go ahead and make it more perfect. I guess.
Yeah, 100%. I doubt they will, but I would love a Resident Evil 0 remake. Because I'm just a big fan of kind of the core series, like 0 through 4.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like 0 through 3, like I love those games, and I kind of love 4 as like its own standalone because it kind of steps away in a lot of ways from like the original kind of storyline.
It does.
But, I love like Raccoon City and, the mansion and kind of that world and that story and all the characters that kind of come with that. And I would love a full-on remake of 0, maybe like 0 and 1 combined into one game or something, and just kind of remake those with kind of the same controls as 2 and 3, and sort of up the ante on some of these monsters and stuff that come at you. But I think that'd be, man, I'd love something like that. I love the original Resident Evil games. I started playing them in 96 when they came out, and I've loved them ever since until they switched to first person.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like honestly, dude, like 8 is great. 8 really is like, I like it so much more than 7 because
Sure.
it's way more of a RE. Well, I don't want to say RE4, but it feels more Resident Evil than 7 does. 7
Yeah.
is too much of a horror game, and that's what I don't like. Like it's like I gotta have a little bit of levity, like there's got to be some silliness where 7 just doesn't feel like that too much. But 8, I think 8 does the job, and it does it really well. I mean, it just starts out. It's like you're Ethan, you're from LA, you go to Louisiana to save your wife, and now you're in Transylvania or Eastern Europe.
What's going on here? Oh.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's just like they give you
speaking perfect like American.
Yeah,
English,
everyone speaks English. The game, like one of my favorite lines in the game that I was thinking about the other day was in the very beginning. Ethan is like, you're playing this dude who just can master all these guns and can do anything. And at the very beginning, he's like, I just don't know what to do. Like, all between, the move, the military training with Chris, it's like, oh, okay, you got to throw that one line in there to be like, I know how to use these guns because Chris Redfield. Like, I love it. Like, I think 8 is really, if you're going to spend time on any of the new ones, I think 8 is the way to go.
Yeah, I know, man. I just I love everything about 8 except for the perspective. But
yeah.
But anyways, I'm glad you're enjoying those games. I absolutely love the 2 and 3 remakes. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on 3, especially because there's more basically Mr. X type moments. Yeah, but I think 3 is still such a fantastic game.
Yeah, I'm going through the second run right now. Like I played Leon first, now I'm playing through with Claire.
Yeah.
And then I'll start 3 right after that. I hope they keep doing this, Capcom. It's great. Yeah. I love it.
RE is just firing on all cylinders.
It really is.
It's great. Cylinders, not cylinders. Cylinders. Before we get into Smash Brothers talk, I just wanted to mention that I'm still playing Kena. It's fantastic. I'm really enjoying my time with it. I've been working crazy hours, so I'm basically just taking my sweet time with that.
Sure.
But it's kind of nice because I think that's only like maybe a 12 to 15 hour game at the most, but I put in like 30 minutes at a time, so I really have just like extended it out. Like it feels like a much more grand experience than it actually is. Like nice. I think I'm getting pretty close to the end, but still really liking it. I picked up Metroid Dread. Haven't started it. Been too busy.
I gotta pick that up too.
I'm gonna start that soon. But I also picked up the new Hot Wheels game. Really excited to jump into that.
I heard that was good.
It's got fantastic reviews.
Yeah,
and I haven't played a good Hot Wheels game since the PS1, so I'm excited to jump into Hot Wheels Unleashed is the name of it. So looking forward to that. But Hav, let's jump into some Smash talk.
Nice.
Let's do it. So basically, just a peek behind the curtain. I wanted to do this show last week, but we got way too busy. So, but I think this conversation is totally worth it even a week later. So basically last week, there was the final Smash Direct where, Sakurai sitting at his weird desk in basically a blank room with like one sad tree in the background
with what seems like a studio audience in front of him.
Yeah, I don't, these Smash Directs are always so weird. Like I love Sakurai for just being such a weirdo.
Sure.
He's kind of like Kojima in a lot of ways. Like he just kind of makes like weird jokes and like, they pretty much none of them land.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like Sakurai is such like a funny guy with these weird videos that he makes, and the way he kind of talks to the audience is just like so strange. He's just like, yeah, so we didn't have any more budget, so I cut this video together myself.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy. I don't know who I don't know who they are. I just enjoy.
Yeah.
And then there's like a weird audience laughter, like canned.
As I mean, it's like he got a room of interns. He's like, you guys better laugh at what I say.
Yeah. And he's just like in this weird blank room with like
Yeah.
like a
I think it
statue
has
in
like
the
I think it
background.
has like one poster, or he puts a poster up.
He
at some
puts
point.
a poster up.
Yeah,
on the
it's so weird.
Like literally throughout the whole direct, he just starts putting pictures of Sora on the wall. It's just like, what is going on in this weird video? But yeah, so anyways, this last direct was focused on Sora from Kingdom Hearts as the last character to be introduced to Smash Ultimate, and Sakurai himself has said he is closing the book. That is the final character, final chapter of Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. He is done with the game. He's going to go lay his head down and take a nap.
Yeah, honestly.
No more characters, no more weird directs from him, at least for the foreseeable future. So there's a lot to unpack here. So I'll do my best to kind of navigate us through this. But yeah, first off, yeah, the game is over. it's at least development of it. It's been quite some time now that the game has been out, and I had, when we were going to record last week, I had when the game was released up, and I don't have it up anymore. So maybe you can look it up when as I do this. But I think it was like December of 2018 is when the game came out, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe, yeah. Pull up my phone and check real quick.
I'm pretty sure that's right. I think it was December. Check my weird brain. December 5th, 2018. Does that sound right to you?
Let's see. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was released on December 7th, 2018.
Oh, I'm so close.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, December 7th of 2018, and obviously they were working on it for a few years even before that. So it's been quite some time since it. Been
working on it nonstop since it came out.
Yeah, 100%. Like making character balances and new characters and new additions across the board, and yeah. So this last character, like I said, is Sora from Kingdom Hearts, and basically what Sakurai says in this direct is that so basically with Smash Brothers for Wii U, 3DS, they had this. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember it. There was a vote. You can go to like whatever it was like Smash Brothers .com/vote or some nonsense.
Yep.
There's some like weird website you can go to, and you could type in a character that you would want to see in Smash Brothers, and they never released like that list. I would suspect that Ridley was on it, and a couple other characters that we've probably seen the last few or in Ultimate here, but they never released it, and they still haven't. But Sakurai said in the direct that Sora was the number one request in the character poll, and I gotta say I was a bit surprised by that, because that's just like I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be too surprised.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. It makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a character that I don't like associate with Nintendo like in any way, even like. Basically, I kind of see that as like a PlayStation game in a lot of ways, because it kind of started on PS2, and there were like
it's Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's basically Final Fantasy with some Disney characters thrown in. And I know there was like some 3DS games and stuff, but yeah, for the most part, I've always kind of considered that like a PlayStation franchise.
Sure.
For the most part, so it's one of those things like, it's like when people say Goku. It's like, I want Goku in Smash Bros. It's like, first off, not a video game character. Second of all, it's like, it just feels like a weird fit.
I mean, look at Snake.
Yeah, Snake.
They put Snake in Smash. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all in the world, but they put him in.
Yeah. But, I gotta say, like, kind of checking out his gameplay and stuff, it's like he feels like a good fit for the roster. Curious, are you a Kingdom Hearts fan? Have you played some of those games?
I am. I really liked when it first came out. I loved it. I was all about it. I played 1, 2, and then the very first spin-off was for Game Boy Advance, and that was Chain of Memories.
Yeah.
And I remember playing through that. I loved it. It was a weird card based tactical, or a card based action game where you have to make a deck of cards. Really weird. And then after 2, the only other spin-offs I played was on the PSP. I forget what that one was called. Birth by Sleep. Yeah, Birth by Sleep on PSP. I really like that. And then there was one more. Dream Drop Distance. That was the 3DS one. So like I played a good amount. And then I still have 3 downloaded, but I haven't. I started playing it. And I was just like, I don't. It's okay, but man, it's so hard to figure out what the heck is going on. Because when 3 came out, right, it's years after 2, and it's years after a Kingdom Hearts game in general, like a mainline one. And so I remember I started playing it. I think it was last year I started playing it, and I was like, I don't know what. I know who Sora is, and I know Donald and Goofy. I don't know anybody else here. It's because the story is so convoluted, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't get it. Like, the first one kind of made sense. Like, you gotta save the princesses because they're hearts, and sure, that's Kingdom Hearts. Great, got it. Stop the bad guy from stealing the princesses. But then it expanded into just this giant, weird story, and I don't understand what's going on anymore. And so when I started playing 3, I was relying on just the gameplay, and it was okay. Like, it was okay. So,
I gotta say, like, video games more than even like TV shows, they need to have like recaps. They need to be like previously on,
God,
blah blah blah. It's just like, a TV show, you might get a season, a year later, but it's like certain video games, you don't get a freaking new game for like 10, 15 years. It's like, it's like,
really.
Can I get a previously on, please? Like,
honestly,
a little recap.
And honestly, if they'd be able to condense that recap in a minute, that would be impressive enough, because I don't understand how you do it, because I don't even know who the bad guy is anymore. Like, it just seems like there's so many of them. Like, and there's so many weird Final Fantasy looking characters. I'm just like, I don't know who's this guy. Why does he matter? Like,
it would be funny if you could play the game like that, where you kind of go through the world and it's like, Sora, if we meet again, you're just like, who are you?
Yeah, it's like, I don't even know you, dude. Like,
what do you mean? We were just fighting like a week ago. It's like, yeah, but it feels like it's been 15 years.
Yeah, it's been a little bit longer than a week, bro. Like, I don't know. But other than that, I was a big fan of the original, and I still think it's a very good game to this day. It's a fun action RPG with Disney characters, right? So it's like, it's something different. It's molding 2 different franchises, which I never thought would happen: Final Fantasy and Disney. But
crazy combo.
Yeah, but it worked, and it's fun. And when I looked at Sora and his gameplay in Smash, like, it looked true to what, and Sakurai made a point of that when he was presenting him. Like, a lot of what he does, they tried to make it as true to the Kingdom Hearts games as they could, and they did that. And I mean, well, I haven't played it yet, but it looks like they executed that pretty well, because he looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, he looks real kind of floaty and combo heavy, like
very floaty.
Combos in the air, which it's kind of his fighting style. It's like he's typically fighting like, bad guys like way bigger than him, and he's like kind of leaping up in the air and just like kind of doing all these like funny combos. And so I'm glad they were able to kind of implement that. I mean, just across the board with all, I think 89 characters, like, they did like such a fantastic job with, like, every character feels unique to their own series,
sure,
and true to their own series, but like, I mean, just somehow it just works for Smash Brothers. It's kind of wild. But yeah, so so Sora's the new character. Game is done. It's game over for Smash Brothers.
It's crazy. One thing I was kind of disappointed though when he was presenting is, like, when he got to the music section, it's like the Kingdom Hearts theme song isn't on there. Like the Simple and Clean song.
Oh, really? I
It's
didn't realize that.
it's not in there. It's like
Interesting.
when they went over the track list, it was not there, and I was like, man, you guys even get the licensing for that one? Like that's
Yeah.
a staple of Kingdom Hearts. Like,
Interesting. I will say, the one bummer is, basically Disney has been washed from that character for Smash. Like,
yeah,
there's no Mickey or Donald Duck or Goofy or
I
any of those
noticed
characters.
during
Like,
the stage transition when it gets to that point with the stained glass.
yeah,
It's like in the original game, you see like Goofy and Donald
yeah,
on there, and
Goofy's
like
there and stuff.
they scrubbed them out.
Yeah, so I as somebody that has to deal with a lot of Disney legal, it's like I understand like the the amount of
Yeah.
lawyers you have to go through to get something approved at Disney is it's kind of wild. So I totally understand why they're like, well, I guess we're not going to be able to get like
Let's
Goofy
just
and
paint
them.
that out.
Yeah, 100%. So they basically just scrubbed Disney from the from Sora, but that is what it is. But I think it's still a good get. But the other thing they announced, and then I got kind of sad, is like they have this Mii costume for Doom Guy. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
I was like, damn! Now I just want Doom Guy in this game. Like, but I understand why they never put Doom Guy in, and it's because he is basically god tier. Like, you cannot defeat. Like, he would basically just come in and he's just be like ripping people's heads off and stuff. It'd basically be like putting Kratos in the game.
Yeah,
it's just
honestly.
like you can't mess with Doom Guy. Like, he was just he
Yeah.
would just come in, he just breaks Mario's back and just like
Rips off Bowser's skull. Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with the Mii outfit because I like it. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's a great Mii outfit. It's probably my favorite of all the Mii outfits. But
Yeah,
like,
for
man,
sure.
Doom Guy. I kind of wish he was in that game, but it does show just the continued relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo, which is great. We have Doom Guy as a Mii outfit. We got Banjo as a character, Banjo Kazooie as a game on the N64.
The Switch Online expansion pack.
What that bunch of that's like a Kingdom Hearts like title. Just Nintendo Switch Online, 23 and a third expansion pack, teardrop.
Yeah. HD remake.
Yeah. Remix 12.
Oh god.
And it's just like, a bunch of nonsense. But yeah, I do like to see that continued relationship between Nintendo and Microsoft. So so that's always great to see. But I basically just want to ask, is there any other characters you kind of wish it was? I know we kind of talked about this a little bit, I think last week, about what characters we wish were character, but
yeah, I mean, I had stuck to what I've been wanting forever, which is this Dixie Kong. I would love to have Dixie Kong as a character.
That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I think just because I think there's only 3 Donkey Kong characters, if I'm not mistaken. Donkey Kong, Diddy, and King K. Rool.
Oh yeah,
I think that's.
I was like, who's the third? King K. Rool.
Big boy. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see that franchise, just represented a little more. I mean, it's as much Nintendo as Mario is. I think Donkey Kong is just as recognizable of a character, and so I think just a little more representation from his games would be great.
What would have been cool is like a retro Donkey Kong character. Basically, Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong, so he's like throwing barrels.
Yeah,
and
they kind of have that in the. They have a stage like that.
Sure. It's just like basically go the Game and Watch route and just make like a like a retro Donkey Kong character.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be dope. And that's technically a different character than
it is
Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong Country.
I mean, at this point, throw Baby Mario in there. Like, he's a different character.
I would love to see Baby Mario in that game. Like, that would have been rad. Same thing with give me my Waluigi.
There's also there's a character from Super Mario RPG. I mean, there's a few of them that like have never been seen from again, and I know one really popular one. I think his name is Geo.
Yeah, Geo is I think that had to have been a pretty up there pick on the list.
Yeah, like the little Pinocchio guy. Like, I think that'd be really cool. Or that I forget his name. That marshmallow puffy guy. I forget what he is, like, or what his name is, but that guy would be cool too. You. I mean, just like again, it's because to me, we've gotten to a point where Smash's representation of video games as a whole, you know, like that. They're just picking and grabbing from all different types of franchises, from different types of games. So explore those ones that are not talked about as much. I mean, Super Mario RPG, I think, is one of them where it's like that game has characters that have never been seen from again. You know, and there's like that. There are characters like that in a lot of games.
Yeah, and I would simply just take Paper Mario as a character. Yeah, like he's basically his own type of Mario with different types of movesets. He uses a hammer a lot. Like, I mean, once again, it's like make him real weird, like Game & Watch. He's like this funny like 2D character. Like his like recovery back from the from being off the stage is just like he turns into a little paper airplane.
Yeah, paper airplane, like sure.
You could get real weird with it. It's like, man, that would have been great to see. But and same thing, I know I've mentioned this on the show before, but to this day, I think the best character I would want, or like the character I want to see most in that game is Tetris Blocks.
The Tetris Block, yeah.
As one singular character, just a bunch of Tetris blocks, and they just form different shapes and can do. I mean, if anybody could do it, it's like the Smash Brothers team. Like they,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean that would be such a dope character. It's just a bunch of blocks.
Yeah, I mean the creativity on that team, I think has no limits. Like the fact that they were able to manage almost 90 characters, that already speaks volumes.
Yeah, bunch of them, like half of them is complete utter nonsense, like Duck Hunt Dog.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What a bunch of nonsense that character is.
Yeah, or even more characters from the Punch-Out series. Like, give me some of the other fighters besides Lil Mac.
Yeah, like King Hippo or something.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, or like Glass Joe, but you just automatically lose.
That would be funny.
Yeah. So a couple of things in this direct I thought were pretty interesting. I want to kind of go through this little summary of Smash Brothers Ultimate as a whole that that Sakurai kind of talked about in this direct. I just thought this was like fascinating. Just like I said, that this game came out December 7th, 2018, and this is this game. Just think about the scope of this for a second. All right, so 89 fighters, counting Pokemon Trainer as 3 characters and Pyra Mythra as 2 characters. 116 stages. 340 stages if you include all variations, including the training stage as a stage. So 340 stages.
Yeah, it's nuts. The music track is what's insane.
Yeah, 201 items, including Pokemon and assist trophies. All right. Which, that's no small feat in and of itself, because like assist trophies alone have all sorts of crazy characters. You'll have like, you have like Raiden from like from Metal Gear Solid. I can't talk today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Not Raiden. Jesus.
Raiden.
Yeah, Raiden from Metal Gear Solid. You have like, all sorts of just weird characters in there. You have like what's a good one?
I mean, you got different types of Pokemon that you can.
Oh yeah, you have all sorts of Pokemon.
Yeah, like they've got like the ninja guy from Kirby.
Yeah.
Or the fighter, I forget if it's ninja or fighter. But yeah, I mean it's it's tons of different. I think, is Waluigi a trophy? Or isn't he an assist trophy?
He's an assist trophy.
Yeah,
he comes in with a tennis racket and just like curb stomps you into the ground.
Yeah.
It's like, he's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Although the one assist trophy, if we're not going to get this as a character, and I think he should have been a character, but I really wish like Leon Kennedy was like at the very least an assist trophy. They have him as a spirit in the game.
Yeah.
Or no, maybe not Leon, but like Jill and Claire. Jill and Chris Redfield, I think, are assist or spirits in the game. But like, give me like a Leon Kennedy that comes in, just like suplexes you. And,
oh, dude. Yeah, just fantastic. Like trips you with a knife and then just drop kicks you. Oh, that'd be so cool.
But yeah, so 201 of those items, over I mean, this is crazy. This is even like in here, but 1,100 songs.
Yeah,
1,100 songs.
that's nuts, man.
1,100 songs in this game. Like,
it's a lot, man. The game is dense. There's a lot in there.
Yeah. And then you have 1,496 spirits, which is like, I mean, that's basically 1,496 characters from like different franchises, from different games all over the place. Like, it's utterly insane. There's 450 like different video games featured in this game. 450 video games featured? What?
It's you know, it just makes me think, like, imagine if Sakurai was doing this on a Blu-ray disc and not on the you know? Imagine the possibility. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah. And then in total 2,200 characters featured, including stage guests.
That is 2,000. That is insane.
Like,
I don't think I could name 2,000 video game characters.
I'd have a hard time naming 200 video game characters. Like,
it
would probably take you 2 hours just to list out. Like, if you had a whole list right in front of you, it'd probably take you several hours to even just say all of those names.
Oh, for sure.
And then there's 140 Mii Fighter sets, which that's a lot of dang Mii Fighter sets. I didn't realize there was that many.
I didn't either. Like, as someone that doesn't really pay attention to Mii Fighters all that much, you realize there's a lot of detail in there.
Yeah, 100%. And then I thought these were pretty interesting statistics. Over 2.2 billion hours played, which is like, that's a lot. And then 11.7 billion games played offline, 7.8 billion games played online, and then over 90 billion KOs.
KOs, yeah. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
90 billion?
Only like 10 of those are me because I'm great at this game. Just kidding. A lot more than that. But, I mean, I just thought all that info was pretty...
Yeah, it's amazing that kind of data they can share, you know, all that info. It's nuts, man. Like, and it just shows you how popular this game is. When you get to like the hours played and like the KOs and that stuff, like online and offline. Like, I was actually surprised at how much the online was compared to offline.
100%, especially since the online is booty.
Yeah, it's just, man, imagine if Sakurai was doing this on a Blu-ray disc and a stable server. That would be nuts.
Yeah. And then, you know, I can't remember where I got this quote from, but well, not quote, but this information from, but I thought this was interesting. I wanted to kind of share it. So, according to Sakurai, producing a Smash Brothers game for the Switch was the last request that former Nintendo president Satoru Iwata had given him before Iwata's death in 2015, leading Sakurai to feel compelled to make the game the best possible product he could to respect him. And I just thought that was like awesome. Very, you know, it's very moving in a lot of ways. Obviously, like the late great Satoru Iwata, you know, president of Nintendo, kind of the big champion of, you know, the Wii and the DS and all that, and you know, this was basically the last thing that Iwata asked Sakurai to do. Is like, hey, can you make this Smash Brothers game? And then he died. And then, you know, I guess Sakurai felt compelled to just like, I'm gonna make this thing just incredible. I'm gonna bring every character we've ever had in this game together, which is a feat in and of itself, by the way.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you could just reach back into the past and be like, snake us in this game again, and you know, all these other nonsense characters. It's just like, that's amazing. And then, you know, on top of all that, you just bring in all these other characters.
You bring in a ton more.
And stages and music. And it's just like, just, you know, not even talking about development, just a legal battle. Like, just talking to lawyers at all these different companies. I can't tell you enough how difficult that is. Like, talking to, like, you know, lawyers in the entertainment industry and trying to get an IP like into your like game or whatever like medium you're trying to do something with. like would be, it's like damn near impossible. That's like you basically you you did the impossible like 89 times.
At least like 20 times with DLC characters. I mean,
yeah, it's just kind of crazy.
It is. I mean, that's why, I think by default this game has to always be talked about as the greatest game of all time, because it's so much more than a fighting game. When it comes down to it, Smash is just a fighting game, but it's so much more than that, right? It is a, we've talked about it before. I've said it earlier. It is a celebration of video game history. The fact that you have 80 plus characters, you have stages dedicated to those characters, and like textbook examples of their games, right, on a stage. Like once you go to a stage for that character, you have an understanding of who that character is even more. I've never played a Bayonetta game, but when you play on Bayonetta's stage, it shows you weird magic, fast movement, crazy giant hands and stuff, and like weird art style with giant monsters. And like, all right, so that's this interesting world that she comes from. And then on top of that, with all the music tracks, and then the side characters that come in either as trophies or as part of stage environments. That's why that game it's a celebration of history, because that game is full on like a display for why you should play these games for each character in their franchise, right? So it's just, it shows you why, like, this is what makes Fire Emblem great. This is what makes Mario great. This is what makes Zelda great. This is what makes Metal Gear Solid great. Like, all of these different franchises, it's just on display for everyone to enjoy. And the numbers back that up, because it's, when you talk about 9 billion hours or people playing, it says a lot. And so I this game has to be, just because of that alone. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the gameplay, which is top tier gameplay. Like, it's a fantastic fighting game. Besides any of that, before you pick up the controller, you just watch it, and you can see, like, this is a culmination, not just a work of art. This is a culmination of art. Like, it's a beautiful thing, and what it represents is beautiful. And you have to tip your hats to the entire creative team and Sakurai that directed it and created all this. Like, it's technologically impressive, artistically impressive, and just, it has to be one of the greatest video games of all time. Like, it just has to be.
Yeah, 100% agree with you, dude. Like, there's just so much here, and it's just yeah, I mean, basically, like, the original game, the original Smash game came out in 99, essentially, with like what, I think it was
12?
like 8 characters, 12,
or 8, yeah, 8 or
10,
8 or 10, yeah, it's around there.
And so essentially it's been 20 plus, probably close to like 23, 24 years that Sakurai's kind of been working on this series with like his team, and it's basically just a culmination of everything, just kind of compiled into this game. It's just fantastic. And the fact that like the game is even remotely balanced with like 89 characters is like such a feat.
Yeah.
The game is just like, it's beautiful, inside and out, and it's fun to play, both like, just being silly and competitively. It's fantastic. So where do you think the series should go from here? I mean, it's like, it seems like the end of an era for Smash Brothers. Like, what do you do after this?
I've been thinking about that ever since the game came out initially, and it had like 60 plus characters.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't understand, like, how do you add more? Like, to me, it also depends on what Nintendo's future is after the Switch. We don't know what's happening after the Switch.
Sure.
It might, I mean, I don't know how much more you can improve it. I'm sure they've talked about it. I'm sure they have a plan. But like, to me, it seems like the most a step that might be necessary is to strip it down, rebuild it from the ground up, and just change everything. Not necessarily the gameplay. Like, it's still a fighting game, but the characters, just everyone's completely different.
Yeah,
no one is the same.
I agree there. So this is where my head's at. I think that, first off, I think they're basically fine for 10 years. So I think you can basically go a Mario Kart 8 approach, and essentially this game could easily last 10 more years. However, I think you need to have a team that continues to balance characters, depending on, like, essentially, and I don't know how much Nintendo's going to do this, but I feel like they should. But I think they need to listen to the hardcore audience, the competitive scene, essentially, and continue to balance the characters, tweak the characters, and then I think essentially the next version of this for the Switch 2 or whatever it's like Smash Brothers Ultimate Plus, or whatever, Smash Brothers Ultimate, and it's basically the same game, except they have completely overhauled the online experience, and basically make it, just a perfect. Just you could play a game all day online, right, and just like it's just immaculate. You don't have any issues. Sure. It's like playing Overwatch. It's like you go into Overwatch. The game's been out for years now, but go into Overwatch and like the game's just rock solid. It's just rock solid online experience. You go in, they're constantly like tweaking things, making it great. Every time I go in, there's like a new patch, and they've just added fun little things, and it's just great. And I never ever have like I don't have lag in that game, other than like the there's been very few times where like there's something wrong with my router, or there's like there's like some weird hack or something like that. But other than that, it's like that game is just rock solid. I never have to worry about going in and be like, oh, is there going to be like a 2-second delay on my game or anything? No, it's perfect.
Yep.
And maybe Nintendo's getting there. Their new Switch OLED has a Ethernet port. It's only 2021 people. Finally got an Ethernet port on a freaking Nintendo console.
Yeah,
so stupid.
I don't think it's so much hardware. I think it's something on their end as well.
Oh no, 100%. Like it's it's just like the netcode stuff they use. It's just poopy. It's just real bad. So I want to see like a Smash Brothers Ultimate, Plus or whatever for the Switch 2. It's just like, here's Smash Brothers Ultimate. You know it, you love it. Here's maybe a couple extra like fun tidbits. We've been also tweaking the game a little bit here and there, and also the online is incredible, and we're also focused on the competitive scene, because those are the people that are, if your game's great, they're going to play it for like 30 years. Look at Melee. Like, Melee is still going strong, people. Melee has been out since 2001, and that game is still going strong.
Street Fighter 2.
And Street Fighter 2. So it's just one of those things, like, if you focus on the competitive scene and you give those, those silly boys and girls what they want, like, they will be playing that game for like 30 plus years.
Very, very true.
So I think that's what they should focus on for like 10 years from, for the next 10 years. And then in like 2030, 2031, that sounds kind of crazy if saying it out loud. 10 years from now, it's 2030, 2031. But in like 10 years from now, you'd be like, hey, here's a new Smash Brothers we're coming out with. Sakurai, he's not on it. He's retired. That man, we paid him a fat stack of cash to just like buy an island and live on it, because that man is a saint and he just deserves a vacation for the next 25 years. But
for sure,
here's a new Smash Brothers. All the characters are a little different. We're back down to like 25 characters max, and the game's it's a little different what you're used to, but we hope you like it. So I hope that's kind of the direction they go. They probably won't. Nintendo's weird, and it's always hard to guess what they're going to do.
Yeah, the unpredictability with them is it's always something to be wary of. So who knows?
I love them and hate them for it. But before we run out of time, very quickly, what's your Smash Brothers games ranked?
Oof. Ultimate's at the top.
Yep.
And then I would say, yeah, Ultimate, Melee, Smash Wii U, weird name,
Yeah.
64, and then Brawl.
Very nice. Yeah, my list is basically the same, except I would just swap the last two.
Oh yeah.
Oh, actually, I take that back. So mine's probably it almost goes in order. Oh no, I guess it does go in order essentially, or close to it. So I don't know how time works. So Ultimate, and then I really liked Smash Wii U.
That was great.
3DS. It's a fantastic game. The fact that they got that same game working on the Wii U and the 3DS is like incredible.
Oh yeah.
Incredible that game was on the 3DS. So I'd have to go, Ultimate and then Smash Wii U / 3DS, and then I would go Melee. Even though I absolutely love Melee, and it's I would say it's almost tied for second. But overall I just think the Smash Wii is a slightly better game. But yeah, so Melee, and then there's a lot that I hate about Brawl, but there's also a lot of things I like about Brawl. And I have a lot of fond memories from that game as well.
Same.
And they gave us characters like Snake and Sonic in it, which are like fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I thought Ike was like a fun character in that game too, and Ganondorf was still Ganondorf.
Yeah. Diddy Kong.
And yeah, Diddy Kong. So introduced like a lot of great characters and I actually really like the mod scene for that game. There's some modded versions of that game, like B-Brawl, which is like they call it Balance Brawl.
Right.
I thought was a lot of fun where, because that game was a little like unbalanced, but then this like modded version really like rebalanced the game in a great way. And then I would just put the N64 at the bottom. Not that it was a bad game, but it's just kind of a little.
It's got to go somewhere on the list.
It's got to go somewhere on the list,
Yeah.
and I'd say what Smash 64 had better than all the others is the best trailer for the game, the best
it had the best commercial.
Best commercial. Well, that's what I'm saying, best commercial for the game,
Yeah.
where it's just the mascots running around like kicking each other. And
Yeah,
stuff.
just in a park, like there's like in a field holding hands, and then they just beat the crap out of each other. I love that.
It's fantastic. Also, just like I really like the story mode in the original game, and it obviously it continued through the series where it's just like the fact the whole idea that these are just toys come to life, and you're just playing with these toys, and making them fight each other, and that way I think it's how they get around like Mario wouldn't punch,
Sure.
Link in the face or like Princess Peach in the face. Like, oh, these are toys. It's like there's just some kid just smashing his toys together.
It's a great idea.
And it basically they kept that through the whole series. I mean, the fact that the very last trailer for Ultimate, introducing Sora, it shows all the characters as toys again.
Yeah.
Just sitting there, and then Sora comes out, and Mario comes back to life for a moment to, I don't know, say hi or punch him or something. And
it's like we haven't played in so long, and now there's a new character. It's like we get to play.
Yeah. So, and just what a fantastic series to kind of reach like I would say an end of an era for at least. I just can't see Sakurai coming back for another one, but I think it's like so perfect the way he left it, and
he doesn't have to come back.
Yeah, no, let that man go to bed. Yeah, enjoy the rest of his life, doing whatever he wants, sitting in that weird, blank white office of his, a sterile office. So, but yeah, man, I love Smash Brothers. So I just wanted to dedicate a whole episode to talking about it, or at least most of an episode talking about it, because I love that series, and
for sure,
I have so many fantastic memories back in the day with that game, just like playing with friends and getting it. Like I remember, day one getting Melee with my buddy Jason and like, unlocking characters all night.
Sure.
And I literally, like, me and a bunch of friends, we chipped in together to get a Japanese Wii so that we could buy the Japanese version of Smash because it came out a couple months before.
Oh, nice.
Basically Japanese Brawl. It came out a couple months before the American version. So we're like, let's put all our money together. We'll order this, this Japanese Wii and Japanese Brawl, and man, we just played the heck out of that game. It's so I just have all around great memories from that series. So
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. That is our show, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another fun week of video games. Talk about video games. Remember, these episodes go live every Wednesday for the most part. And you can find us over at Instagram at Go Multiplayered. Huff, where can we find you?
Also on Instagram at loverboy_Huff.
We had like some Halloween thing posted.
Yeah, I went to this Halloween thingy that was it's 2 blocks away from where I live. It was fun. It was much more family friendly, not so much a haunted house, but just kind of a walkthrough kind of thing where it's like, ooh, look at the cool decorations and stuff. But it was nice. It was fun.
They got a little petting zoo over there.
Nah, no petting zoo.
Just, screw that then. Screw that place. And of course, you can find me over at Zach Matzganis. That's ZACKMATZGANIS. And of course, if you like the show, want to support us, check us out over at Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayer, where you get those $1 or $2 a month. It really just goes to helping support the show. Just kind of
let's be transparent. It pays for the podcasting fee.
100%. Like it costs like $15 a month to just just have the podcast online. So, it's nice to just be able to, just to pay for that at the very least. So yeah, thank you so much everybody, for tuning in. Remember, we'll be off next week. I am too dang busy, but, hopefully we'll be back the week after that. So thank you so much everybody. We'll see you when we see you. And of course, remember,
we love you. And you should love you too.
We love you. Hope you all have a good Halloween. If we don't talk to you before that, have a good one. Spooky.
This is not a Halloween episode.
Goodbye. We here at Multiplayer would like to give a huge special thank you to Kevin Hopkins, William Euchre, and the rest of our amazing Patreon community. If you'd like to support our podcast and get a shout out at the end of each show, be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayer. See you next time, players. We love ya!